Here's 7 things, I think 7 things, that every adult should know how to do. So let's get right into it. All right, so number one is to drive. Even if you don't have a car, if you have somebody that, trusts you enough to like teach you in their car, just go to an empty parking lot, maybe early in the morning, like really early, and just take some laps and just know how to control a vehicle. Even if you live like in a big city where you don't really need a car, I would suggest still getting your license and still learning how to drive. It's worth it, trust me. If you know how to drive automatic already, okay, that's great. But I'm gonna challenge you to learn how to drive stick shift. In my opinion, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more to it, but it's definitely worth it because you never know if you're gonna be in a situation where the only option to drive is gonna be a manual. So for me, I never had like one main car that I was able to like take a couple days and like really, really learn. Instead, I had like different pockets of opportunity that I would just like seize the moment and be like, all right, can I practice on your car? So for example, my grandmother's car, I had a friend that was really nice and let me drive his car. Yes, it's super like cringe and like whenever it like stalls out, but then once you finally get it, oh, it feels great. So I would recommend, if you are able to, learn how to drive stick and thank me later. Number two on this list is to swim. So of course, this goes without saying, like everyone should know how to swim. Everyone should at least learn or try to learn. For obvious reasons, I still have a lot of family members that do not know how to swim, and I feel like people think that the older you get, the less something's worth learning or the harder it is. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily going to be harder. I just think that when we're kids, we're just so excited to do things, so we pick it up quickly. But as an adult, we have so many distractions, so it like hinders our like growth. But I think we can learn just as fast as kids. I would suggest taking an adult swim class, like yes, making it an experience, like go with some friends and really learn. Like I wish I can just take my whole family to like adult swim classes, but will they take it seriously? I don't know. You gotta really want to do it to actually, get it. But yeah, if you don't know how to swim, definitely look into them. Number three, you gotta know how to manage your money. You can't just get paid and just start spending as things come along. Like we cannot do that. We have to give each dollar a plan before it gets spent, or we're just gonna be wondering where it all went. That's all a budget is. It's just a spending plan, okay? So let's like rewire our brain not to like hate the word budget. It's just a plan. Now, in order to give each dollar a job before it gets spent, I actually made a free money template. Just message me on Facebook saying money template and I'll send it right over to you. But this is of utmost importance. Also, I would suggest getting a budget app so you can keep track of each expense. So that way it's divided up into categories and you can see like, oh, I have this much to spend on food, this much to spend on groceries. Instead of just looking at the big number in your bank account and being like, oh, I'm good. And then next thing you know, it's like super low. Yeah, tell me about it. And that's actually what my channel is all about. It's all about how to increase your cash flow without having to work more, how to manage your money super simply, and just how to be efficient in life. So if you don't know where to start, just start in the playlist I'll be linked down below. It's what I wish we would have been taught at school. Anyways, let's go to the next one. All right, so next on the list is actually to cook. So cooking is actually not that hard. I found it so intimidating for the longest time. I remember I had a friend and she had her own apartment and everything, and she would have her little spice rack. And I remember asking her, like, do you use all these spices, and do you remember what spice goes in each dish? And she was like, yeah, I know like what goes good with what, like I'm pretty used to it, whatnot. And I was just like, whoa, okay. It looked intimidating to me. There was like 20 spices, right? So years and years and years later, when I got into this health kick, I was really interested in learning and trying different healthy dishes. And the only way to try it was if I made it myself. And it was through that I realized that a lot of the spices are used in many, many different dishes. So you got your basics, garlic powder, onion powder. I always add a little bit of Cajun, but I mean, obviously salt and pepper. But after that, it's really not that difficult. There might be a couple dishes that are more specialty, like pesto, whatnot. But for the most part, you don't really need to use 20 different spices for the majority of dishes. Now, I'm not talking about different cultures because they use a variety of different spices, but I'm talking about like typical American food. But once I realized that, I was like, wow, my mind is blown. Like, why did I think this was so hard? So if you don't know how to cook, I would suggest starting with eggs, of course, probably one of the simplest things you can make and so versatile. You can make like an egg sandwich, or you can pair it up with the next thing I'm going to say, rice. So I would suggest you make white and brown rice, okay? Pasta, super simple as well. It's just boiling water with a little bit of salt. There's so many sauces for pasta. Also, like a protein, you got chicken. You can make grilled chicken or like in the air fryer, and like a salmon or whatever type of fish you like. So with these basics, you can make so many different combinations. Like there's so many ways you can prepare chicken or the fish or the pasta. And once you start getting more comfortable in the kitchen, you're going to want to start to branch out. So you can add, from different cultures. So burritos or curries, so much to explore out there. But start with cooking what you like to eat. Eating out in a restaurant, what do you get? Do you get a Cajun chicken pasta? Maybe start with that. It's not as hard as you think. And especially when you start doing it, you're going to start seeing the same seasonings over and over, like I mentioned. And it's just practice. So yeah, start cooking what you like to eat and then build your repertoire from there. I don't know if that's the right use of repertoire. Build your roster. No, that's definitely not the right word. Build your menu. I don't know. You know what I mean. Next on the list is to sew. Now, I'm not saying you gotta be a seamstress and all that, but if your shirt rips or like your pants rip, it's nice to be able just to sew it back up real quick and move on about your day. You don't want to have to throw away a perfectly fine piece of clothing just because it has a little tear, right? Now, everyone should have a little kit, a little what's it called, sewing kit, and just have it handy. So I'll suggest, getting a little sewing kit, getting an old t-shirt or whatever, and just following along on YouTube and just sewing, getting the flow of it, and you'll see it's not as hard as you might think. All right, next up on the list is volunteering. Now, this isn't something you got to learn how to do, but it is a good thing to do at least maybe once a month. If you want to meet new people in a really special way, or you want to, do something fulfilling with your time, I would suggest that everyone volunteers. It is so awesome. You never know who you might meet. You never know what can come from that. Especially if you do have friends, you can go and do it together, and it's such a cool bonding experience. And you're giving back. It's not just about us all the time. Sometimes the best feelings are, helping others. That could be an awesome way to break the cycle of the mundane. And like I said, you just never know what can come out of that. So yeah, that is pretty much the list. I hope this is helpful. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you know when the next video is uploaded. Thank you so much, and till next time, God bless.